நானே நன்னா சொல்லம்ம சொல்லு நன்னானே நன்னே நானன்னா பட்சிகளாம் அம்மா பறவைகளாம் தன்னை நந்திதி பறவைகளாம் சொல்லம்ம சொல்லு பலவிதமா வந்து ரங்குதம்மா இச்சையில்ல ரெண்டு மணிப்புறவும் தன்னை நந்திதி மணிப்புறவும் சொல்லம்ம சொல்லு இன்பமுற கவர செய்ய.
Welcome to the Folk Chronicles, a podcast like no other that takes you on a journey across the country, from forests to malls, from huts to offices. As we venture into the world of folklore, we will be focusing on tales, traditions, riddles, rituals, music, and all that our grandmothers taught us. This podcast is presented by the students of the Capstone Project, Folklore in Context, from the Department of English and Cultural Studies, Christ deemed to be University, Bannerghatta Road campus.
Ganji Chudail, originating from the realms of meme culture, has evolved beyond its initial humorous origins. It stands as a symbol of profound cultural and societal resonance, representing more than just a meme. This transformation unveils the deeper roots of its existence, tracing back to narratives about outspoken women and deviations from societal norms. Today, we embark on a captivating journey exploring the evolution of witches, particularly focusing on the intriguing Ganji Chudail. Our ultimate aim is to explore the interplay between digital folklore, changing nature of creatures, and its influence on folkloric understanding when it comes to witches. In a village nestled between rolling hills and ancient woods, whispers of an eerie tale echoed through the air. It was the legend of Gauri. Gauri, the epitome of beauty, had recently arrived in the village after marriage, turning heads with her mesmerizing long hair. Another woman, consumed by jealousy, sought to tarnish her beauty. So, under the cloak of night, she crept into Gauri's humble abode, scissors in hand. Next day, Gauri woke up to find her once majestic hair vanished, a shock that shattered her spirit. In the aftermath, Gauri's bewilderment turned to madness. Stripped of her beauty, respect, and power, she met an untimely demise. The village, unable to comprehend her descent into madness, labeled her a witch, the Ganji Chudail. Unknown to them, the real horror had just begun. Fast forward to a chilling night in Jharkhand, a place haunted by echoes of witch hunting. Gauri's tale mirrored the tragedy of 5 women accused of witchcraft. The mob, fueled by superstition, took their lives, leaving a scar on the village's conscience. Ganji Chudail, once a feared figure, found herself amidst of internet memes and cringe-worthy videos. Her tale became a humorous narrative far removed from the tragic reality that inspired it. The digital realm, with its paradoxical twists, had given her a new identity. Through interviews with locals, the haunting reality of witch hunting emerged. The women who dared to challenge societal norms found themselves labeled as witches. Real voices shared tales of fear, injustice, and the struggle against deeply ingrained superstitions. Myself, Rashi Agarwal, and my group members Ananya and Sai are here to moderate this discussion and interview as we unravel the layers of this intricate subject. Joining us in this fascinating conversation around history and stories, we have Miss Manisha. With her extensive understanding of historical narratives and captivating tales from mountainous regions, she is here to provide a distinctive perspective on the intersection of history and folklore, covering an arc from the coming in of witches to a perspective on evolution of its characters and situation in present time. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us today. Your expertise in historical narratives and knowledge of ghost stories, folklore, and urban legends make you a valuable resource for our exploration. We are eager to dive into the intersection of ancient tales and the digital evolution of folklore. To begin with, can you share your perspective on witches as characters and the historical context surrounding the branding of individuals, particularly women, as witches?
Yeah. Thank you, Rashi, first of all, for giving me the opportunity to, explore this subject once you asked me. So, as per my understanding, we human being, we always fear to unknown, right? Whatever whatever things that makes us fear, we feel that okay, this is something which we have to protect ourselves. Let's go back to history. When we talk about the most, discussed event is the Salem trial of witches. We know that at the time period the plague epidemic took place in America, or at the particular region, and thousands of people lost their life in the same time. There are series of battles, so there is a problem of refugees as well. The another problem was the Native American, because that is the time when they were demanding for their rights. So what they need to do, they need to pinpoint somebody that all these problem, who's the reason. They'll never say that this is Britishers were the reason. So they said, okay, so some particular a group of women, most probably outspoken one, most probably who challenge the norms of society, so they just pinpoint them that these are the women who are the reason behind all these things. Let's kill them, let's solve this problem. Okay, so rather than finding a solution, they simply killed women, and it's very very easy to point a woman. Now, even well, let's come back to India and recent event. You have seen in India there are 6 states who are, now and then you get the report, and all these state are the state where very the people, there is a two type of people, right? One is the upper class, and another one, a large number of people are from the poor, families, especially Dalit women, right? So I hope recently you are aware about the incident of Lata Sai, right? A Dalit woman from MP. The another one is Kamla Barua. All these women, they were most probably, most of them were widow, or they were Dalit. So it's very easy to pinpoint them that, yeah, these are the women, reason behind it, let's kill them. Now, when we talk about witches in ancient time period, yeah, this notion was there. As I've already told you, this notion comes with the fear. So even in the Manusmriti, the witchcraft is prohibited, because Manusmriti is a text which talk about the legal, framework of a society, do's and don'ts of an individual person. So yeah, we got this kind of, when Manu is saying that, the witchcraft or this kind of practices is forbidden to the society. So yeah, definitely is pinpointing to that. Yeah, this kind of practices were there. Even if you see Atharva Veda, deals with the
Mm.
all we call it, we said Ved Trai, Brigaved, Sam and Yajur. These are the Ved Trai, and Atharved is a Ved of Anarya. So again, there again we got the incidents of these witches and all. So yeah, it's deeply rooted in our history. And in the present form, use recently, the I think the last incident took place, which was recorded. It was in 2015, as per to my knowledge. So yeah, it was there.
Yes. I think you've answered a second question also, but nevertheless, if you want to add, it's like it goes: how do ancient tales and folklore contribute to the creation of figures like Chudail? How
Okay.
did societal norms and power structures contribute to the creation of these characters and narratives? In what ways do cultural beliefs shape and shape the portrayal of them in different societies? If you want to add something to that, ma'am.
Yeah, sure, sure. So folklore is something which actually connect us to our roots. Everything have positive and the negative impact. Let me take you to European history. I hope you all are aware about Grimm's fairy tale. Grimm's
Yes,
brother
ma'am.
moved to the
Yes,
countryside,
ma'am.
he collected the folklores, published it. In a way, it spread the idea of nationalism. The romanticism which spread at that time period, when people started connecting to their roots. But in the same time, we have seen that he also talk about a women who are not, again, not accepted in the society, and those were witches. Let's get back to India. And even in India, there are three stages whenever you say that, that particular woman is a witch. So there are three stages. The first one, they said that they subset for the first thing is accusation. Okay, this particular woman is the witch. The second one is goes to the declaration. Everybody declare that, okay, yes, we all agree that she is the one who is the problem. And the last one, we all are aware about the persecution, right? So all these stories, they pinpoint to them where the women who is not accepted by the society. And more or less, if you see the stories, you see the one woman who lives, as I think I'm repeating my point again, a lonely woman, most probably a widow, who is not having a support of a male member, or maybe somebody who is outspoken one. You may be if you go through the recently I was reading about the Australian prime minister, right? So people
Uh,
are using a term for her, ditch the witch, right? Even if you read some memes, and you see memes for the Hillary Clinton, right? So all these women, they are putting these names. So again, even in the folklores, are women who have some kind of power and who is not abide by the societal norms, right? They were considered as witches. And we have seen it, like the way, if recently I've explored your topic, Ganji Chudail. So the woman was very beautiful. So somehow when I watched that story, I got to know that some kind of sexual desire was there. Somebody wants that lady and not able to get that. So what is the best way? If you not, it's a very popular Hindi dialogue, मेरा नहीं हुआ तो किसी का नहीं होगा. Sometimes
मेरा
we
भी
have
नहीं होगा.
all across things. So yeah, it's there. But yeah, so I hope I've answered my question.
Yes, Ananya, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so first of all, you have covered a good amount of what we were actually aiming for when we wanted to talk about Ganji Chudail. Another aspect is that so obviously I stumbled upon Ganji Chudail through memes and jokes and these stories. And there's actually a Doja Cat version of Ganji Chudail, which is very fascinating to me because Doja Cat has been a very outspoken woman and now she has become an iconic meme as a Desi X pop culture crossover. But another aspect that I wanted to conjure up was the movie Stree because it shared the story of Ganji Chudail and the story of Stree. For me, shared a lot of similarities in one sense because both were desirable women, both wanted something in their life, and it was taken away from them, so they became witches. And in Stree's case, it is associated with the concept of Jogini in one sense in northern India, where Joginis were considered the women of God, who they were like
Right.
children and women who were married to God, and then they became sex slaves and they could not marry. And I was very fascinated with this idea because this is not only oppression of women per se, but also of sexuality. And I feel like witches become a character where it's like if it's not in the living world after death, they may haunt you. So I want you to give us a mystical perspective, like obviously because folklore sometimes does delve out the desires that we cannot express in a society that probably has a hierarchy as we all know it. So what do you think about this aspect?
Yeah, first of all, I want to talk about Stree here, if you don't mind. So,
Yes,
people want Stree as a different. My perspective of Stree movie is different. Generally, we all are from middle class families, and our mother is our one who's going to protect us from the world. And the first thing when you say, "Mama, I want to go out," she's like, "It's not safe." And especially girls, we all are from Delhi
right.
NCR, so we know it's not safe, right? So Stree is something which first time I saw man is wearing going out at night. And what happened in general? You saw women go out, somebody abducted her, and at the end, what you will get is the cloth, right?
Hmm.
That was exactly happening in that movie, and that all for the men's first time a man, is not there to move out from their house. So, somehow I feel that that Stree in that movie empowered all the women of that particular area. So, somehow it's very different, right? And if we go back to the culture you were talking about, Devdasi. So, Devdasis, they were the initially it started with the bhakti, and
Temple dancing.
even if you see that Mirabai is a kind of a jokini only, right? A woman, she was against to wear the white robe, and she said, "I'll wear a saffron one robe wherever I go." Right? That's a woman of her will was Mirabai. But people are not able to, harm, or you can see her character was respected. I feel there are two reasons. One is from the Rajput princess, so definitely you have to think twice before speaking against a Rajput woman, although she is not living at that time. But in the same time, there are some women who are enslaved, and most of the time you have seen that whenever there is a lady, she is taking revenge. And in what way she's taking revenge? She finds somebody who's weak and वो उसको body को possess कर लेती है. All these ghost story.
Right.
The witchcraft, when one thing I don't know why, when we talk about sexual division of labor, right? Sexual division of labor, we divide labor as per to your sexuality. You are a woman, you are designated to do cleaning, taking care of children, and you see the witch. What is the thing which the witch can fly? That's a broom. Come on, the woman, if she can change somebody in something, so she can convert an animal into a unicorn, right? But again, the symbol, and I feel that this entire idea of witch is to let down a woman. And again, these kind of, you see all this male dominating society's character, all these patriarchal features are there. A woman related to a broom, a long nose, not very beautiful. In the same time, you see Indian witches, very beautiful, right? Long hairs, a desirable one, right? So that it's a very kind of stiff competition between desirable and undesirable. I feel in the same time, a men want to pinpoint us in a way that, okay, these are the women, a witch always wants, you have seen some movies, right, where they always want to be look beautiful. Let's have example of a Rapunzel, right? So, and
Hmm.
even the aim is to be look beautiful, and the aim of a princess is to get a man, right? One day my daughter asked, why all princes wants to be get married, mama, and why they always want to be live happily ever after marriage. I actually think, like, okay, yeah, what am I feeding this little girl? That actually this kind of,
Hmm.
I am a very that kind of person, right? So I feel ki, but the aim of every story is to get a male member who will protect you. And if somebody is
Protect that
more
aspect
powerful
of
than you,
protection.
then what you will do? You will find a group of people and just put the woman down, right? So this is what I feel. I don't know मैं कहाँ का कहाँ ले गई.
I don't know, ma'am. Definitely. I think that, this brings an arc from fear of unknown, how fear of unknown makes us fear not to go out, and that applied with men not being able to go out. And then also, I think I recall something, when it's quite crowded, you're okay going out, feeling safe. And even if you go out in crowd, you tend to, feel scared from the crowd itself. So yeah, and also, like you were ending in how what kind of content you were feeding to children. This also brings us to our next question. How these stories are have come up to YouTube, social medias, and we know children are using phones. They're watching YouTubes, and I can see that children are watching such stories also. So how it's feeding them and what sort of impact they're having.
Yeah. So, I feel whenever people talk about YouTube, so I feel that, like the way okay, Ananya wished to add something. Yeah, Ananya, please.
Yeah, just to add to Rashi's point, because the entire concept of Ganji Chudail in YouTube specifically, I'm gonna talk about Instagram later on because it's a whole different trajectory. In YouTube, it's actually directed at kids. And when I first came across this content, it was through Instagram because my YouTube is very infotainment centric. But when I watched it on YouTube, one thing I observed is that this character of Ganji Chudail, obviously she has different colors. Green is the most obvious one for her. She's very different from, I would say, the versions of witches that we see in our stories in Indian context. Like, she doesn't have hair at all. And another aspect is that she always tries to be independent, but it is always shown in an evil way. And one thing that I observed is that Kanji Chudel emerged during a time where I'm not sure if you're aware, but alpha male podcasts are there. There are men who are putting down women because they want a trad housewife or they're like a traditional housewife. And then there are some red pill women who are like, women shouldn't vote and this and that. I agree of this group collective just coming to bash women who are independent, who are doing things on their own, and in a sense divert from the patriarchal image of women that we have. Another observation is some, like in many movies that I watched as a kid, where there was a character like, she's a witch or she's an evil woman, or even the most popular character right now on Instagram, Kamolika. I don't know which show she's from, but she is there. And all of these women are, portrayed in such a way. Yeah, Sai, you can continue once I finish. Portrayed in a way where it's the contrast of the Madonna and the whore, or like the white swan and the black swan theory that's going on the internet. So, and I feel it's not even the fear of unknown per se, but more of the fact that if women come to recognize their own sexuality and abilities, it will put men down. They would be like, where do I stand? And so obviously it bleeds into Rashi's question eventually. And I'll hand it over to Sai because I think she also has a question.
Just to add on to that, essentially the word Ganji Chudail itself means Ganji is like bald and Chudail is like the witch. So they say that the power of the witch lies in her hair. So like as you can see in the end of Stree, it happens the another girl like Shraddha Kapoor, the mysterious character, merges her hair like the hair of this Stree with hers, like implying that she also might be witch. Same goes with movies like Diane, where they have a really like the women, both of the women who eventually come out as Chudails, both of them have really, really long and luscious hairs. Same goes with umpty number of movies where women, those who are free and they have very and free spirited, have very luscious hair. They usually are depicted as which is that that, oh, you are like so free spirited, are you a Chudail or something like that. So that's what I feel ki sort
Hmm.
of Ganji Chudail defies that. So
I
yeah.
think, you know, uh, yeah, Ananya wished to say something. Yeah, Ananya, please.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Sai Sudha reminded me of this very underrated series called Bulbul, starring Tripti Dimtri. And in the series, when we are shown a glimpse of Bulbul's childhood, which was at the age of 9 or 10, she was getting married. She was being put on a toe ring, which is a not a common thing, I would say, but maybe it's common in some cultures. And the female counterpart who is making her wear the toe ring presses it and it hurts Bulbul. So Bulbul, she asks, why are you making me wear this toe ring? Like, why do we wear this? And the female counterpart who is, there, she laughs and she answers, like, this is so that you cannot fly, or like in the Hindi translation, इसीलिए ताकि तेरे पर ना निकल आए.
So, for context, touring is a type of ring that is made out of metals, and or it could be also a non-metal. And this thing is basically worn by bride. So, during the wedding ceremony, the husband puts this toe ring in the wife's second toe. Now, this custom is followed in many places. Obviously, Kerala, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka.
Which sort of connotates the fact that they are marrying her off so that she doesn't become free spirited in essence. Another point is obviously Ganji Chudail defies the hair concept, which is very prominent in a witch figure, having this wild hair that flows in the air. Even in Ruhi, when Janvi Kapoor is possessed by the witch, her hair are flowing very freely from the bun that she had because it was night before her marriage. And one aspect is that in India especially, a woman's sexuality is often represented by her hair. And I will tell you why, because when I chopped off my hair because I was not able to handle them, the first and foremost reaction that I got from my parents was, oh my god, you had such beautiful and luscious hair. Now your femininity is gone.
Being taught to, they've been nurtured in a way with certain attributes, like girls are supposed to be like this, boys are supposed to be like this. So I would just request ma'am only to continue on what she was trying to
Okay, yeah,
say.
that's I love the way I love the way you people think, and that actually it's a beyond the box when you said that yeah, you lost your femininity and all these things. So I feel that they always make even that the incident of the toenail. So when you got married, so you have to put a suhag tika, bindi, or toenail. It can be anything, but it should be depicted that you are married, you are
Right.
somebody's property. Whereas when a male member married to somebody, I never saw my husband putting, although I don't do anything, but yeah, never putting sindoor or any kind of thing which recognize that yes, this man belongs to this woman, because that is not required. Because women are not going to jumping on some man that okay, I'm going to take this man, but this case can be happen to a woman. So somehow it is something that yeah, this is my territory, alpha male making his territory, and that's the way I think when they are putting all these kind of shingar, what we call the sola kind of a singar for a woman, there's not even a single kind of singar I've heard for a male. If there are sola sanskar for women and male equally, similarly there should be sola singar for the male. So because male are always so afraid of women, because I feel that it is we are the one who can create something, we can bring life to this earth, a male member can't. Second thing, to depict women is, hair is a part of your beauty. So, if you need to hold somebody, I long back I watched the ad where, the woman said chop up my head, and she said the girl was keep asking her how much, and she said you cut it in a way so that he can't hold it, right? So somehow these hair children is something which can, they make us weak in front of a male member. And I think even if you see the witch's notion, like the way I think Sai said that if you chop off her hair, you will take her power back, because as per to the male dominating society, a beauty of women is her power, but it's not. The will is the one. But the society, you are using all those Korean product, 1,000 rupees for this serum and that serum. Why are you doing? Why they are converting girls into a butterfly? Right? What is the use of a butterfly? Is that she should look beautiful, you know but you never want a bee because she will sting you. You always want a butterfly, and that's what they are converting society into. Right? Similarly, that which calling somebody, which a name calling is a very big thing. It will keep you into it will put you in isolation. It will make you subject to the various kind of violation. Everybody, anybody, nobody will live with you. And what is the if somebody got into this, that yes, if Sai said that Rashi is a witch or somebody is a witch, so as per to the section 295A, you will get jail for 3 months and you have to pay 1,000 rupees. Seriously? You will get more money just by saying somebody doing something else, right? If I file a case against some company in consumer forum, I'll get 1 lakh rupees and 2 lakh rupees, because the company waste my time. And you name somebody a witch, you designated a person, a individual person, that woman is a witch, and you have to pay only, you have to go in jail for 3 months and 1,000 rupees. So again, you can see, even I feel that this there are something, this entire society, most of the a large part of a society run by a male member. They always want to control you. So how they'll control you? Either they adore you or either they shut you down. So those they are able to adore, they are their princes, and those they are not, those are the witches, I feel.
Right, ma'am. And I feel, since we are talking about how, we are nurtured with certain attributes and certain people tend to defy them, and then all of us have, a certain perception being formed for us. And when we sort of go against it, people might just tell us that you're witches, or that, not exactly call us witches, but some uh, certain consequences all around it. So, how do you think the societal perceptions of outspoken women contribute to the labeling of witchcraft? Can you discuss any narrative if you know, right?
Yeah, I feel that, it's now this notion that, putting women down, shutting her, like the very recently the animal movie, my goodness, what a
Right.
horrible piece.
It was.
But it's trending like anything, right? So, so here you can see the more, the moment you start earning for yourself, the moment you are self dependent, you don't need to be, I feel that then there will be less kind of a various kind of violence, violence women will face. Let's take example of Uttarakhand. I'm from Uttarakhand, and if you see the Uttarakhand economy, it was run by women because most of the work is done by women. So there you'll never get an example of a witch there. They always say these are Pariya, right? There's a Khat Parvat, Tihri district. If you Google it, you will see there's a lot of
Right. I've been
entire
there.
huge mountain that we call Khat. And the male, they say that don't shout here, don't look beautiful, especially for boys, don't wear perfume because there are Pariyas, right? And these are the fairies who will take you to your place, right? And there are various, incident happen there. But even in Uttarakhand, when you see ghosts, so they always ghosts they depict in a form of a protector. In my childhood, I remember my grandmother used to tell me ki my dadaji was coming and there was a ghost walking along with him. And there's we have a in my house, I in my village, I'm from a small village of Pori Gadwal. So there is a spirit that we call that she the spirit protect our village. It's a boy who committed suicide, and somehow they convert it into stories. And even the woman, I've never seen a woman. There's an instance where they said that she have killed somebody, right? But yeah, they always say these are the pariyas, or they're always a positive notion for women. And I feel that is because the entire thing, because most of you see this 90% population migrated, and most of them are the working class. Male member went out earn for their family, women are there taking care of their fields, taking care of their children. So women are the one who was running the entire Uttarakhand, especially the I'm talking about the Gadwal side of Uttarakhand. So there you will see women, not even if they are as a spiritual powers and they have some kind of magical thing, so they are always in a good way. Take example of a Khat Parvat. Whereas the society where the I remember somebody was telling me I from Meerut area, the women are not allowed to do jharu in their angan, राइट सो दे सेड अरे यहाँ तो औरतें झाड़ू नहीं लगाती आंगन में तो आई सेड व्हाई बट इसमें क्या मतलब व्हाट्स द प्रॉब्लम दे सेड अरे औरत बाहर जाके काम करेगी आई थिंक द नोशन इज कि कहीं किसी की वाइफ बाहर ना दिख जाए while she is brooming the house something somebody may see her or again that ghar ki izzat kind of thing. So this all this notion, all these fairy tale, they make it in a way you to believe that this princess is good, be a princess, witches are bad, don't be like her. Stage ladki is very commonly used phrase for all of us, I think, especially a women like girls like me. I have faced this thing for entire my life and right now as well. I'm very तेज अरे वो तो बहुत तेज है ओहो राइट उनकी लड़की बहुत तेज है so that तेज word is also depicted in a way if you speak, if you will not listen to somebody, and if you question. The major problem of this patriarchal society is you are not allowed to question, right? If I'm burning myself and I said क्यों मैं सती हूँ, if the man is going to do the same for me, so nobody answer that because nobody is having answer. These are the dogmatic practices which we have to follow. So the moment you questioning it, the moment you started questioning it, you will what you will see, you'll see the backlash of society. They started pressurizing you, name calling, and there are various things happening around it, right? And similarly, take example of I think by few I think I was teaching grade 12 and we are doing this discussion. So the 19th century India, more women died due to the this which they persecuted various witches, less number, and very less due to that sati, because sati, although they stopped in I think 1829 is the year, right? So the number of women died due to that, they were designated as these are the women who are witches. So its number is high. Why? Because that time the education is spreading all across the Indian villages. And my personal opinion is that why the children was asking me why. So I said maybe the women may start saying that we don't want to do it. We don't want to be sati. So in what way they can stop those women to impacting other women, or you can see a spreading that evil to the society. So what the best thing is to set them down, and there are various ways we have, right? So this is what I feel.
Ananya wanted to say something, yes.
Yeah, so just a couple of questions and some inputs. So first of all, I do agree with you where to silence women, they took this notion of witches. Another aspect when I was studying the history of witches, because through the character of Ganji Chudail, our aim was to bring out the actuality of witches in India. And a recent case that I studied happened in 2023. Apparently, it's on the government website. The government has a website where they keep all criminal records. And it was of a 58-year-old woman, Salo Devi. And what happened is that a girl child laborer, she was a child of at least, I'm not sure about the correct age that I recall, but I think she was 6 or 7 years old. She got severely ill, probably because of overworking hours or whatever the reason is, it's not specified. She got severely ill, and people branded her a witch and they persecuted her. And most of them, of the recent update, they are not facing any severe consequences. It's just whatever the law has presented to them. Another aspect is that when we talk about Ganji Chudail in one essence, what I've observed in most of the stories with Ganji Chudail is that it's always a man. It's always a rishi, a sant, a birju, some kind of male figure that stops her and persecutes her. And when we move on to Instagram, it becomes a whole different thing, because on Instagram now there is a thing of referencing Ganji Chudai with Doja Cat, because it's a pop culture reference that Doja Cat is this outspoken woman who supports Satanism, even though she has come forward and said that no, she's not supporting Satanism, she's not supporting anything, she's just living her life, she's just doing what she wants. And her being associated with Ganji Chudai came when she shaved her head. And so this becomes a whole lot of things where the entire existence of not only Ganji Chudel but women who are outspoken, as you have said, Tez Ladki, and also this notion of, like I'll give an example. When I was 17, it was for the first time that I was putting on makeup for the first time. And I think I put on a red lipstick, or it was orange, but it looked red on my skin. And when I showed to my mom that, I'm wearing a lipstick and I want to try doing makeup, because I was in an all girls college and I would see women putting on makeup and looking very beautiful. So, peer association that you do. And my mom's first reaction was that don't wear it, take it off, wear something pink or some other color that is more ladki wala. And obviously, as a person who likes to ask a lot of questions, even though I know I'm going to be raided, um I asked her, why, what's wrong with this one, like I like it, it looks good on me, it's nice. And she said that only witches and only unmarried women who are witches wear red lipstick. So this association of even makeup, because probably she didn't like it and she didn't have an explanation, I wouldn't blame her. Because we have to keep in mind that Ganji Chudel is not just an internet meme or an icon. She is something that represents years of generational abuse, trauma, and even patriarchal abuse that women have gone through. And her only feature, is that she doesn't have hair. And even that is not given her into a liberal sense that, oh no, your hair is gone. It was robbed from her. And then now it has become her identity, something that she didn't even have a say in, because out of jealousy, somebody just chopped her hair. That's the more popular version of her origin story, as we say. So, like, my final question, like, to just wrap up the whole thing, my final question would be, what do you think of Ganji Chudel as like let's imagine her as a individual per se, even though she is a version of which that we have. What do you think of Ganji Chudel as an individual? And what do you think it's instilling even through memes, stories, and jokes? Because let's be real, digital folklore is still a tiny twiggy branch of folklore which is now coming into social media and internet, because after this whole internet revolution, it has become an integral part of life. So, Rashi, if you want to add something, you can.
I just wanted to say, I think probably you're trying to ask how, there has been a perception of witches in popular culture. As Sai added about long hair being their power, and then red lipsticks, white saris, long nails. But this Ganji Chudail as a character is, trying as just witches being labeled. She's also trying to deviate from the whole idea of witches. Now she's become the whole Ganji Chudail and now has become a popular trend. So
Yeah, so I'll add, answers. Both the first of all, the red lipstick is why the women, because as I've already told you, the what society want to you to be a butterfly, a soothing one. A red may be a very tempting color. A red may be make you different from other, which nobody wants, right? No, you shouldn't be noticed. Now you shouldn't be noticed in a positive way or negative way. It depicts on a person who's seeing you, right? Maybe a mother concern is that she do not want you to, to be there in front of a society where people are judging you with your looks. Oh my goodness, so much of makeup, right? Makeup ki dukan, right? And in the same time, maybe that you needs to be the part of the group, because that's what Rashi I think initially said, that we feel safe, and maybe your mother feels safe if you just blend with the people, right? Nobody notice you, right? And what we always want is to be the get your safe space, because when you start walking away from the leak, you will be noticed, and when you will be noticed, you will be questioned. And the moment you threat somebody's authority, so what is going to be happen, it's not going to be, definitely it's not going to be the pleasant one. When we talk about Ganji Chudail, what makes her different from other, that woman have a will, dear. That woman, she don't have that kind of hair or those things, but the woman who can fight against. I think I remember there's one story I watched that she and her daughter, they both died, and then they became Chudails, and then they start taking their revenge. So the woman is not going to shut even after her death, right? She was there to take the revenge. So definitely, the Ganji Chudail is the most powerful woman, right? Powerful woman who is not depicted by her physical feature, but by her will and the kind of a power she possesses. Maybe the story, the green light showing her evil power, but these evil power, she's using to prove that thing, that you cannot let me down. You can't take me for granted. If you will, do something wrong, so I will be there to answer you in your own way. So I think Ganji Chudail, I feel that after reading, after watching those videos, I feel that she's a powerful figure, and the one she's able to scare everyone, right? So I think, yeah, she should be noted, and yeah, definitely internet is emerging as a very powerful tool, and this new generation, especially these young children who are watching it, they all are visual learner, right? Most of us, I think, in our childhood, I'm entirely we don't have that kind of visual aids. Now whatever you need, few days back I was talking to my daughter about this tiger shark, bull shark, I think, and she said, I want to see it, right? So all these visual things, when a story, unknown story, some mystical powers are there, and when it is supported by some visual effect, definitely it is going to be the new generation is going to be more knowledgeable than us. But definitely they are connecting these, all these things, if we use in a positive way, we can connect children to our roots, which actually this generation is lagging behind. We are following practices, we are doing namaskar, bhumi pranam, but we don't know what it actually mean, right? And even this example of a sindoor or a tika of women. So previously what we used to do, we used to put a chandan ka tika. We believe that this is a place where tristem, right? So this will soothe our skin. But now there's all this chemical we are using. The sindoor is having mercuries, right? And that can be the reason behind the skin cancer. But can you ask your mother not to put sindoor? No. Yes. Why? Because again, that thing, what it was there previously and how it changed with the course of time, that is again, now it became a kind of I won't say that a ill ritual of a society, but a kind of a thing which nobody question. You have to do it no matter what. You, like the you on the side, don't wear it. You can't do it. Why? She don't know. Maybe she don't have a explanation. Maybe she know this is bad, but how it will impact you, she don't know how to explain it, right? So these things are there with it. Yeah, Sai raised her hand in between. Yes, Sai, I feel you want to add on something.
Yeah, so basically the origin of Ganji Chudail is very contested, as in there are multiple stories as to why she became Ganji Chudail. I think one of the major stories is how a person, like she was a very beautiful woman, someone envied her. So there is this thing of women envying women, due to which she lost her hair and ultimately became Ganji Chudail. Again, there is an interpretation as to how she used to be lonely, and a tantric baba, apparently, mostly I think in those stories there is a tantric baba who defeats Kanji Chudel. So, like in many stories, also we see that how Ganji Chudil is a very normal woman, as in she. There is also a story where she loves to do Instagram reels and stuff like that, and all of a sudden there is someone who sort of tries to interrupt her, and that's how she becomes a Ganji Chudil. So that that's how it's like Ganji Chudil is not just the story of an woman who like was like became a witch, a special woman that became a witch, but rather, and like every independent woman that just wants to live her life, but the society doesn't let her live and sort of stops her using this tantric baba. So that's what.
I think just to add to what Sai said, Ganji Churel may not be just that character, but I feel this, if we see in context of folklore, this has covered a timeline per se. Initially, the stories were orally transmitted. These were these princess stories. There were witch stories. There were fairy tales, legends, and all these had a main motive of establishing a normative society. And now, since it was that time they were orally transmitted, and now it has come to a time when these stories are transmitted through digital media, through digital lore. But again, the whole soul motive remains the same. To establish certain norms. But again, we are looking another perspective, how these women are trying to deviate from the norms. I think that is what we are also trying to look at, and I'm glad we are trying to look at that.
Through the Capstone project, we aim to offer insider interpretations of local folk traditions and practices through the lenses of global, theoretical, and methodological frameworks. As this episode comes to an end, let's immerse ourselves in the enchanting stories and rich heritage that transcend time. I trust your folklore adventure with us was truly captivating. So let the melodies linger in the air. Folklore, timeless beyond compare. They are the soulful echoes of our yore, a chorus of heritage forevermore. Until we meet again.
জন প্রেমের ভাব জানে না তার সঙ্গে নাইলে না দেনা ও সেজন প্রেমের ভাব জানে না তার সঙ্গে নাইলে না দেনা খাঁটি সোনা সাইরা যে নেয় নকল সোনা সেজন সোনা চেনে না অসেতন মানিক চেনে না ফুটা কাটা মানিক পাইল রে অতল পানি ফেলিয়া দিল রে 7 রাজার ধন মানিক হারাইয়া ও ভাই 7 রাজার ধন মানিক হারাইয়া কাটা তা তো মন জানে না সে ধন সোনা চেনে না সে ধন মানিক চেনে না